The convoy spots the missing ambulance on the side of the road, so they pull over. The paramedics, wearing their uniforms, get out and start to move towards them.
It was like super, just making sure.
I wasn't doing anything.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Use AI to make your speech. Yeah, I'm gonna get up there and say, sing Red Sun in the Sky.
Currently enacting its final solution on the Palestinian people in Gaza. After numerous ceasefire violations on March 18th, Israel finally unilaterally ended it with a record-breaking...
I have to call him.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
I linked them up. I linked my lawyer up with Noah.
child-killing massacre. Since then, Israel has killed over 1,000 Palestinian people.
In trouble. I don't think what he's in it could be considered trouble.
He's just scared.
The irony of everything is that Ethan sent a cease and desist to Noah for his YouTube video where he details how Ethan Klein and many other content creators, including Mudahar, have played a role in defending Israel's genocide, right? Intentionally, unintentionally, doesn't matter. Ethan was like, how dare you? How dare you make a YouTube video about me? I'm gonna sue you. But he didn't actually do that. He just fucking sent him a cease and desist because I think he also understands that there's not, I mean, this is like a ridiculous, this is ridiculous to do.
I mean, a cease and desist is a scare tactic. It always is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there can't be further like legal process beyond that. Obviously, we live in the most litigious nation probably in the world.
Yeah.
But they are meant to freak people out.
Yeah. The lawyer lobby.
You know, I mean,
that's why we need
everyone who posts worth their salt has received a cease and desist order before. Have you ever gotten one? It's because you're a pussy.
Well, let's just say I got I'm not gonna say anything,
okay.
but I would like to not reveal. But it wasn't. Let's say it wasn't a civil cease and desist.
Sure.
But yes, I have gotten visited before. But what I was saying is. What I was talking about was, he did this cease and desist. He might still try to like do this, long, convoluted, expensive process of litigation to bury him in paperwork and try to engage in this like war of attrition. But looking at the cease and desist in and of itself, there was really no bones in it at all. There was no meat. Like it was just nothing. There was nothing in it, and. So I linked Noah up with Alex, but it's just so fucking stupid. Can you read it? What do you mean? But the reason why I thought it was funny is because the lawyer that sent that cease and desist is like, he says he's like famous for anti-slap litigation. Mm-hmm. Well, Ethan's legal team, just recently had their appeal denied because he was being sued by another person that he apparently, maybe allegedly, I don't know, was defaming, saying that this guy, who's like a billionaire, was engaging in a Ponzi scheme. So this dude sued him. And then he hit the counter slap, and then the counter slap didn't work, and then he appealed it, and then the appeal didn't work, so now he might be cooked. And it's the same fucking lawyer that is working on that and also simultaneously doing cease and desist for Noah. Weird world we live in. My point is, maybe you shouldn't engage in this kind of stuff. That's all I'm saying. Maybe you shouldn't be fucking constantly getting litigious. But yeah. Why are you being quiet?
I have no thoughts. I just don't want to get fucking sued.
Okay. Oh yeah. But that's what it is. This is literally the thing. Like, No, you're demonstrating. You are
Don't want to get
in real time demonstrating how the chilling effect works, which is precisely the reason why there are anti-slap laws in place.
Yeah.
Where if you try to stop someone from exercising their First Amendment rights with frivolous litigation, you can punish that person. But no one wants to do it because it's too much paperwork, it's too much money. Everyone is understandably fearful of wealthy people who are crazy enough to just go the distance, even if they might lose in the process. And it's very, very annoying. Anyway, but Noah's in DC as well.
It has bombed schools, shelters, medical clinics, residential buildings, and water treatment plants. Israel is summarily executing paramedics, decapitating babies, and destroying everything in its wake. Israel is also once again invading Gaza and establishing mass killing fields. All of these crimes are being committed with weapons from the United States, impunity from the international community, and silence from the Western media. There's no end in sight, and things are only set to get worse unless people do something to stop it. There's a protest tomorrow, Saturday, April 5th, at the White House. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Pennsylvania and 3rd Street, which is right here, right outside the White House. It's pretty hard to miss. This protest has been endorsed by over 200 organizations across the United States, and it's supposed to be huge. If you live nearby, show up. There are a bunch of buses available from all sorts of cities, and many of them still have seats. If the buses in your area are full or unavailable, you can sign up to drive your own vehicle and bring others with you. If you do have a vehicle and are able to drive it and have room, please do that. I live across the country, but last minute decided to fly so I can be there tomorrow in hopes that this might encourage some of you to join. Go to marchforpalestine.org/bus or click the link in the description.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we're here. Meanwhile, while this is happening...
How many protesters did you pay to be here? 1,000?
Yeah. I am George Soros.
Yeah. How much you pay each protester?
I was like, I'm the Muslim Soros. Why is there no Muslim George Soros?
It's
you know what I mean? I'm the puppeteer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hasanabi, Hamasabi, you already know. Yeah, I paid everybody to get here.
Not well.
Yeah, no. You didn't like the Hamas fruit basket I sent you?
No, I didn't like it.
No. MBS if he went woke in DEI.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah.
It was just all cantaloupe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got the shitty end of the stick. My bad. Fly me out, Hassan. There's still time. Yeah, I'm good, man. So there's also a lot of protests that are happening, hands-off protests that are happening all around the country. But that one is the more liberal version, I think. I'm a little bit confused about this. So this march is specifically about Palestine, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever anxieties and anger you have towards the Trump administration, certainly, but definitely heavily featuring the pro-Palestinian movement and messaging, whereas the hands-off rallies, from what I understand, that are happening all around the country right now are hands-off my Medicare, but also hands-off NATO. Apparently.
Hell yeah.
Libs are...
Let's fucking go!
Libs are doing hands off my NATO.
I love NATO.
Yeah, me too.
I love my NATO.
Common dreams. Why are hands off rallies defending war-hungry NATO? Many people believe that NATO is a peace-loving defensive alliance, but the opposite is true. Please look at the poster. Hands off NATO. Big protests aren't really my thing anymore. Although I think they're good, fine, but it's so funny that today's hands off NATO, but not hands off Gaza. What the fuck? Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, our jobs, our wallets, our bodies, fair elections, personal data, public lands, veteran services, cancer research, NATO. Hands off NATO. We must stop Trump and Musk's illegal billionaire power grab. We must stop them from undermining and dismantling America's protection racket. That more. Ironically, literally,
more.
Hands off more. You know what's really funny when you say hands off NATO while simultaneously saying hands off for Medicare, Medicaid? It's like, dude, that program in and of itself is a direct lifeline to the military-industrial complex, which is where all of our expenditure goes towards, instead of the other things that you're worried about. Half the reason why they got these fucking programs is because they want to melt the poor so they can become more loyal subjects, more vulnerable servants that will then become property of the state, the Defense Department. But the other thing is they gut those programs and then they spend all the money instead on fucking R&D for weapons and like new ways of figuring out baby murder machines. And then we have to send those weapons somewhere. Someone has to purchase those weapons. How do we create that endless appetite for death and destruction? How do we create that endless appetite from all of our valuable allies? Well, we have NATO. That's how it works. And it's so goddamn stupid that these guys don't understand it. It's very, very frustrating. This right here is directly at odds with half of the other things on here. Hands off our libraries.
I think they all are beautiful, and I love all of them. You ever talk about Curtis Yarvin?
Not really. I feel like he's such an ugly little creature that I feel... I just, every time I see him on screen, I'm like, oh, gross. Like, I just click away. I can't deal with it.
Okay.
Why?
No, I was just thinking about him.
You think about him a lot?
I mean, now, like...
Do you find him attractive?
I think he's hot in his own way, but...
Yeah.
But, no, I don't know. Do you think what's happening now with the stock market...
Do you think he wanted it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, do you think that this is, like, all part of kind of the plan in terms of a further consolidation of wealth in a smaller and smaller groups of people's hands? Like, right? Like, you're talking about, like, petty millionaires. Fuck those people. Who cares? Like, the super, super rich, the billionaires and everything. Like, this
yeah. You like people with with actual wealth to be able to consolidate more wealth when at a much more reasonable price point is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like undermining the stock market deliberately so that the super, super wealthy can go in
simultaneously with tax cuts on rich people, so that they have more money to buy up.
Yeah, I mean, I see that as a constant under capitalism. I don't think that it's like, I see that as like something that's going to happen regardless.
But
so I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt to do a fire sale on assets for. But
I feel like we're in I think it's something new that's happening right now. Like I think. I think this is the new stage. Right? Like some people call it like techno feudalism.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Shouts out to Giannis.
Yes. He is. That's a great book. But it feels like a new stage. I don't know. And I feel like guys like Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel and these other guys are kind of a little bit behind the scenes on it. You know, we mostly just see Musk and Trump and all. I don't know. Whatever.
No. But, I know you're not wrong. Curtis Yarvin has a well-defined worldview and a method in which he wants to bring about this like weird, almost monarchist structure.
Right.
And he is like the billionaires, like the Peter Thiels of the world, are very much on board with this. They think he's brilliant. Mm-hmm. They find his strategy to be brilliant, and they want to do that. And I think that they get to have a piece. They're not a senior partner in the coalition. But they're definitely a junior partner in the coalition in the way that like Bernie was with Biden, right? Where maybe with a lot more influence because their goals align. Mm-hmm. So they're just making the most of the situation. But I don't necessarily think that like Trump is completely in the pocket of these guys to this degree where he's just like, what do you want? He's like getting Curtis Yarvin's guys to go up to him and give him like secret notes. I think it's Project 2025 is what he's following, like almost to a T.
Sure.
Even the tariff stuff. If you look at, we looked at the Project 2025 tariff stuff, and basically everything that they are, all of their resentment, all their gripes that they talk about in Project 2025 is demonstrated by Trump. And the other side of this story is the World Trade Organization and specifically favored nations benefits that China gets, that lock any kind of tariff strategy against China with every other country that America trades with, or every other country that like Western nations trade with, that limits America's opportunity to decouple from China. And I think that's one thing that they want to undermine. They want to undermine the World Trade Organization and rebuild a new one, because this one, you know, China was able to work with. And that's something that Donald Trump has talked about. That's something that I think the Heritage Foundation definitely wants to restructure. They openly write about it in Project 2025, and I think tariffs play a role in that. It's not necessarily like an asset sale for as cheap.
I feel like it's just like an added. I mean, it's an added.
Yeah, it's added value more so. Yeah, like they're making the most of that situation. But I do think that the reason why he's doing the tariffs is obviously not to beef up American manufacturing. We don't have the fucking infrastructure to even beef up American manufacturing on our own. I think he's doing that to try and desperately restructure global trade and move away from China as a manufacturing hub and the secondary manufacturing hubs that China has created in like Vietnam and whatnot over time to avoid sanctions and to also because they've developed too much. So yeah, that's what I think. And you want to know something really funny about that? Do you want to know who the first president was? Or not the first president, but you know who Donald Trump actually followed the agenda of so thoroughly when it comes to the World Trade Organization and the tariffs and NATO? Barack Obama. Barack Obama was originally, Barack Obama is like when we start pivoting to the Indo-Pacific and we start pivoting to like more heavily focusing on Chinese development and trying to undermine it to the best of our ability. Barack Obama did the apology tour, if you remember, when he went to like, you know, Japan. Didn't really apologize for anything, but like everyone said he apologized. What the hell are you doing? Like all of that stuff was done with a sinister purpose in mind. The goal was to restructure alliances in that area and basically apply pressure to China that was growing as a manufacturing hub and growing in a lot of its soft power initiatives. Barack Obama also started the undermining of the World Trade Organization, refusing to send judges to the World Trade Organization, and basically removing them of any sort of mediator capabilities that they might have had in global trade. And Donald Trump totally followed through on that, and so did Biden, and so did Donald Trump too in his second term, and Donald Trump too. Yeah, Trump 1 and Trump 2 identical in that process. Same thing with NATO. Obama was the one who originally wanted NATO countries to increase their GDP expenditures on NATO, on their own self-defense, by purchasing American weapons, of course. That was Bardock no bummer that initially started that process. Mm-hmm. So it was really funny when like liberal media would cover that, like, Trump doing that as a totally separate thing, because he kept saying, I'm going to undermine NATO, you need to pay more. Ironically enough, he was doing what Barack Obama wanted to implement initially.
Did you see Obama's thing that he said recently?
Yeah, he was talking about he was talking about how like I think he wrote a piece as well.
Yeah.
Where he said like, if I were to do this, people would freak out or something. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you do it?
Well, I think he's jealous.
He's such a fucking asshole, dude. Obama's such a fucking asshole. Yeah, Obama, especially in 2008, unlike Donald Trump, did have the mandate. He did have the popular mandate, and he had the supermajority as well. And he didn't do what Trump is doing, and he should have done what Trump is doing, especially because the economy was at its lowest point at that in that regard. He had the opportunity to greatly restructure the American economy and do everything he wanted to do, and he did not do it. All right, we should head out. We should head over there now.
You feel rested, Marsh?
I feel so much better.
I feel so bad for Marge. At least I got like 2 hours of shut eye when I first
I'm ready.
got it. Is it cold out?
This is the best.
No, it's gonna be warm.
Yeah, dude. This is the best naps are only like 20, 30 minutes.
Who says that?
Science. The scientists.
Marsh was also talking a big game about how he's Mr. Raver, so he doesn't even need this stuff. He doesn't need to.
You worded that so poorly.
He doesn't need this whole
Mr.
sleeping shit.
Raver.
Okay, let's do this.
All right, we got mics. Oh yeah, you gotta set the shit up still. Here are the mics.
Perfect.
And then I will bring this bag as well. I guess we'll put some stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a shotgun in there.
Where's the shotgun? It's not in there.
It's in my bag.
All right.
Damn, we got 2 more minutes.
But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Hold on.
Fucking job.
The fuck?
What?
Someone just texted me, farting motherfucker.
Nice. They know what you're up to. They know what you've been getting up to over here. Okay. All right. There's also the new video that came out that was like 8 minutes long. Here, we'll watch this while we wait. But this is something I wanted to cover as well. Where remember how the Israeli government that famously never lies was like, hey, we didn't do, we didn't kill a bunch of health care workers with the Palestine Red Crescent.
Do they still pretend to do that? I thought they don't even do that anymore.
No, I think they still were like, I don't think they talk about it at all because there wasn't enough like Western media coverage on it. They don't ever say anything unless like there's enough fuss happening in the Western media. And it's crazy because like the New York Times coverage on the matter when the bodies were uncovered, 15 healthcare workers, like first responders and healthcare workers, including 8 directly from the Palestine Red Crescent, which is the Red Cross in the MENA region. When they uncovered these buried ambulances and all the people that Israel had killed, the New York Times basically said, we can't confirm or deny if Israel did anything. We just couldn't reach out to either side to figure out who had done this, what had happened. And it's fucking insane. Because, like, obviously you have the number of people that work for the Palestine Red Crescent. Like, you're the New York Times, dude. Yeah. The thing is, this is getting a lot, like, they actually uncovered 8 minutes of footage from one of the healthcare workers. It's a harrowing story. It details exactly what they did, and now I think Israel might get into a little bit of trouble because
With who?
I mean, not with America, of course. I mean, like, I meant like Israel might have to at least go, oopsie, we didn't mean to do this.
Swap cameras.
Okay.
I can take that one off.
Yeah. I already did.
Okay.
Wait, what the hell? Why is the laptop camera not working?
Oh no.
Oh, it is working now. Boom. Okay.
Oh, there's a different one. Oh, it's a laptop.
There's a laptop camera too
Sick.
that yeah. Why do you say boomer? The fuck do you mean? All right, let's keep going.
It is shortly before dawn on the 23rd of March. The first rays of sunlight can be seen as a convoy of Palestinian Red Crescent ambulances are travelling on a road to the north of Rafah, searching for missing colleagues. The Israeli military would later claim that they didn't have their emergency lights on. This video shows very clearly that in fact they did. The convoy spots the missing ambulance on the side of the road, so they pull over. The paramedics wearing their uniforms get out and start to move towards the vehicle. Israeli soldiers then open fire. The video goes black, but the mobile phone keeps recording for another 5 minutes, much of which is almost constant gunfire. One of the paramedics, Rifat Redwan, can be desperately heard reciting the Shahada, the Muslim prayer before death.
هذه الطريقة اللي اخترتها يما إني أساعد الناس.
Forgive me, mother, he says. This is the path I chose to help people. He was later found with a bullet in his head and this mobile phone still on him. It was 5 days before the IDF gave permission to the United Nations to retrieve the 15 bodies. They were found in a mass grave and their vehicles crushed beside them. These
Straight up neo-Nazi bullshit. Nazi state doing Nazi shit. Anyone that refuses to recognize that is a Nazi apologist. That's it. That's all this is. There's nothing else. There's literally nothing else to say about it.
What's this?
Put that on you.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Put that on you too.
What
I
is
can
this?
swap to shotgun too. It's a little magnet.
Cool.
You just take that off. And
Oh, sick.
All right.
Oh, shit.
I'll put it on the Kafia for now. Hopefully it'll have good audio, but. Please tell me you guys brought safety goggles that cover the sides of your eyes just in case it's tear gas. No, and I don't think there will be. I mean, I don't plan on. I don't think that there will be.
Hasan always carries a lot of, like, a half gallon of breast milk with him, so he can just put the breast milk in his eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
The Israeli military has claimed that 8 of the dead were Hamas. They have not yet provided any evidence of that.
They always, I mean, this is what they do. They're just like, oh yeah, babies, Hamas. Healthcare workers that are engaging in deconfliction with Israeli government in an effort to go to places where the Israeli government has bombed entire facilities. And they're there to like save the lives of children that Israel is trying to kill. Everyone's Hamas in the process. That's their number one defense. They don't even need to be good. They don't even need to be good at lying at this point, because you don't need to craft an expert lie if no one is going to hold you to account, and they're just going to avoid it. They're going to avoid talking about it. They're going to avoid punishing you, and that the American government is inevitably going to turn around and say, oh, well, you know, they're working on it. They're just small bean Israel, you know?
The Israeli military has also claimed that the vehicles were traveling without coordination in a combat zone. But a Sky News investigation has revealed that an evacuation order was not issued by the IDF for that area until at least an hour after the incident.
You ready to
The
go?
ambulances were clearly marked and they should have returned to the families.
Oh, I
They
gotta
did
pee.
not.